I realized with starting this video series that I'm a lot better at working on boats than composing these videos. So bear with me, but this is our first kind of dive into working on the new boat, and we'll talk a lot about what we're doing as we go through this adventure. But this week, the biggest project we've got going is fuel tank replacement. So check this out. Hopefully the videos get better. Hopefully they're interesting to somebody out there. Thanks. What we see here is the starboard side fuel tank. This boat has two 100-gallon fuel tanks. The port side is aluminum, the starboard side is fiberglass, and what we discovered is that that starboard side, during our pre-purchase inspection of the boat, has been leaking, the fiberglass one. So what you see here is seepage over several years of fuel underneath the fiberglass tank. And what it's done is it's seeped down into the bilge, and as it has, it's evaporated and left this varnishy, sticky fuel residue all over the place, and the boat just reeks of fuel. Unfortunate thing is this is right underneath the cabin of the boat, and this tank underneath the dinette. So all of that had to come out, and revealed the plywood floor, which you can see has been cut once before to allow access to the tank. Neither of these tanks are original to the boat. They've been replaced since 1972. But this fiberglass tank in particular is in bad shape. So remove the plywood floor, and then you can see the top of the tank there. I had a great stroke of good luck, and there was a fuel guy down on the dock servicing another boat, and he had this excellent pump filter set up to safely remove the remaining fuel in that tank. There was about 100 gallons in there. It was almost full. And so that was pumped out and into the non-leaking aluminum tank that we've got on the port side. We were able to do that through the vent access on the top of the tank. So with this fuel safely out of the tank, we set about removing all the fittings from the top. So the supply lines had to come off. Also the fuel fill and the vent lines that are coming up through the floor had to be removed to prep the tank for taking it out of the boat. In addition, the floor supports that you see here, they'd been cut and sistered once before when the tank had been replaced, and those were carriage bolted and glued into place. So the only option there is to cut them again, with plans to re-sister them on the other side, probably with some white oak or mahogany. So the floor joists cut, and you see the top of the tank there now fully accessible. And we set about the work of trying to lift that up and get it out of the bilge of the boat. It was surprisingly easy. The tank itself weighs about 50 to 75 pounds, and there's just a little bit of fuel and sludge left in the bottom of it, but it tilted up and out of that hole fairly easily. And I convinced my family to come down on a sunny day with the hopes of a barbecue to be able to help me heft this thing out. If there was any question, that's the best wife in the world right there. Easy to tip that tank up and out. A little less easy to get it out the door. The door is 24 inches wide on this boat, and the tank takes up every bit of that. So again, with a little bit of muscle, we were able to heft that through the door and get it out to the rear cockpit of the boat, where we'll dolly it up the ramp and dispose of it off-site. So there's that big 100-gallon tank, and what we see is that there was all kinds of residue left underneath it where it had been leaking. But fortunately, the paint underneath that seems to have held up incredibly well. It's not peeling, flaking, just a little bit stinky. So if anybody has ideas, this is after one-time clean, if you have ideas on how to clean up that smell, sure appreciate them. But next up is waiting on delivery of our new tanks. We've got two 99-gallon Moeller Marine tanks that have just been fabbed in Tennessee that are on their way. So look forward to that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.